Yeah. Yes, Pankaj, you can go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so Aranika was conceptualized on two dimensions. One is the inner dimension of like all of us as human beings to pursue that more diligently. And then as a fallout of that, because believe like uh, the inner journey makes you look at outside also in a transformed manner, in a beautiful manner, and you have that whole urge to contribute. uh, Unfortunately, like our modern lifestyle doesn't support that kind of nurturance. But I feel like if a person does land into like nature, much of the insecurity and I mean greed, which is at center of a lot of ills, uh, perhaps will find its own cure. Because I mean, in the normal like secular world, we are dealing with like I mean ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन विच आर इंक्रीमेंटल लाइक इवन जब हम फाइनेंस की बात करते हैं तो 10% चेज कर रहे हैं 20% चेज कर रहे हैं 50% चेज कर रहे हैं 100% चेज कर रहे हैं once you go to nature you see like there's so much abundance like one thing turns into thousand one thing turns into million right once you see that happening from all your right in front of your eyes and also like you're observing like how selfless that whole process is. I think that could bring in a whole transformation into the viewpoint of like any human being. So it was with that idea, like we wanted to set up Aranyaka, and yeah, I chose this land. I bought it like a couple of years back with the idea of setting up Aranyaka. But I mean, this time when we landed there to actually work on it, like, and we were a little like stripped of resources, but still we went there with some promises from some people who knew about me, about this project and everything, and they stepped up to support us. Uh, but unfortunately, like COVID arrived, and these people were also dependent on the hospitality industry. So while we tried to sustain ourselves, we even ran a campsite for some time. But this whole COVID thing ran for like little too long for our comfort. And I mean, whoever wanted to support us, they were also not rendered in the position that they could support us because the whole period was too long, like 2.5 years and all. Uh, so we had some very good experiences in terms of experiments which we ran. They are with us. We also try to run an international competition to obtain a like a master plan for that place. So the idea was again to like kind of I mean open source the Aranika community to be a harbinger and a pioneer in terms of through this open source international competition, not just that we have the physical master plan for this place, but we make it an open source exercise in which like the whole community living concept can be like opened out. I mean, we can form a repository out of this competition, which can then be made available to the whole world, whoever would might want to start a community like that. So it had to have both the hardware and the software component. So that was the dream, and like we're fortunate enough to have some very good people from India, like from the architectural community, to come on board as judges. There was a team formed like of architects, so all of that happened. But again, like the resource crunch struck us like in a way, and we couldn't move forward in that bigger manner that we wanted to. And yeah, I mean, so that thing still remains as a like unfinished kind of agenda for me. For now, I've moved into like solar sector, so doing a startup in this. But Aranika still stands as a focus, though we want to like kind of yeah. Right now the focus has gotten slightly divided, but Aranika is still very much on, and I'm looking for support on that.
Thank you, Pankaj, for sharing. Would you like to share what exactly in terms of support are you looking for so that we can um, please?
So one is like I mean now this is a new community like I'm sort of becoming part of. So Vijay does have the some of the documentation that we did at that point in time. So I don't know if this is the right platform to share that with you guys. But if not, so as I said, I mean, I had a certain conceptualization of it, which was to get a competition done, then make that competition itself into a project which can then be made a open source repository for people who might want to do community development. So this is what it was then, and there are other ends to it. Once it becomes operational, the place comes up and all. So we had identified about 7 dimensions to work into, which are all related to kind of either the local community development or circular agriculture or resource conservation or uh, the vernacular architecture. So all of that which can happen from a place like this. So we wanted to kind of become a consciousness which is pro nature, pro planet, pro humanity, that kind of consciousness, and then spread it out into the world as much as we can by being a network of networks. So that was the whole idea. The Now I open this thought up to this community, this fora. You guys can kind of, if you want to go through, it's one or I mean it's 2-3 page document. If you want to go through that, Vijay can make you available that, or I can do that, or else we can just start to talk about it. How do you see this thing going forward? I mean, for me, yes, of course, if you ask me, I might want to recreate this competition and then go the same way. That's the place I was in the past, and that's where I might want to begin again. But because now new set of eyes are looking at it. So if you guys have some more thoughts to add to it, and kind of I mean, in terms of shaping it up, I'm open to that as well.
Sure, I think I can offer time to first go through the document, go through any other um, materials that you have, and maybe we can do a call at some point to know a little more about the competition that you're talking about. I get like a overview, but to understand more things, what does this competition look like? What do we want to do? Where can I, offer my skill? So I would like to offer, if 2 hours just to understand this a little deeper, because we're not going to get into that right now, because this is a place where we offer and receive, and the manifestation will happen at some other point. Um, but I would like to offer 2 hours just to understand a little more, because it is interesting, it is something that I'm interested in. So yeah, that would be my offer.
Uh, Vijay, would it be possible to upload these documents somewhere, where, or should I do it individually? I mean, take
I'm
your.
I'm trying to upload the video in the chat box, the video that you shared with me, so
Okay,
that everyone can access that. But the
so that'll
two
be
file,
fantastic. That's just a minute of I
yeah,
mean, I think, yeah, just a minute of video clip. So that can be played even now.
so it is being uploaded in the chat box. It will take some time, but
Uh-huh.
the other two files that you shared with me, they require access. So I think you'll have to make that access first in
Oh yeah,
yours,
I'll
and
do that at my end. I'll do that.
uh, and then
Mhm.
I'll share that in the sheet or either in here in the chat box. I'll do that
Okay,
also. Yeah.
should I do that right away, or
If you can, yes, that would be great.
okay, I can do that. Just give me a moment. Yeah.
Until Pankaj does that, we have Manvinder who has joined in, I think, after we did the round of introductions. Manvinder, we'll just wait for your introduction. I think we have Neom joining in, I think, joining in for the first time. So maybe Neom, would you like to quickly introduce yourself, and we can also give you a very, very quick introduction of all of us.
Right. Sorry, I'm in the kitchen. So yeah, my name is Neo. I'm a 23-year-old unschooler from Pune. currently living in Pune, working in education and music and play. So I consider myself a play facilitator. Yeah, right now I have a lot of different things going on, a lot of different projects, and I also have this, big notion that I want to connect with the community more and find ways for the community to connect with each other, because I feel that we have a lot to benefit from each other. So I don't have something concrete enough which I can like share today and like ask for support or anything like that. But I've just come to also witness other people's ideas, see how I can get involved. Yeah.
Thank
And
you. Thank you,
hopefully in the
Neon.
future
Yes,
have a
yes.
project to work
Happy
for.
to have you here. And yeah, the project ideas don't need to be solid, or they don't need to be, you can just share whatever you're with, like, it can be a random thing as well. So don't feel pressure to share a project idea as such. That's just for people who already have project ideas. But happy to have you here, and welcome to. So I'm Adil. I'm part of the Kide community, and yeah, just love hanging out with friends and working together with them, and sharing. So I'm here.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe we can quickly introduce ourselves for Neom, who's here for the first time. Manvinder, maybe you can go and popcorn.
Hi, I'm Mankendra. I'm a Kida and I live in the mountains and I like working with forests and with people. Actually, I don't like people, but I like working with them. So it's like play facilitator, but I don't like my toys. That's all about me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bhaumik. I'm currently settled in Beer. It's raining a lot today, so I'm just hiding in my cave with all the sweaters on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Neom. Myself, Vijay. I think I met you at Key Hive. Yeah, yes. So currently, I'm doing a fellowship, a Sports for Transformation fellowship, where I play sports and I coach kids in sports. So, yes.
Is my mic open?
Yeah.
Okay. Vijay, I enabled access for everybody. And for Neom, hi, I'm Pankaj. Um I've been working on a community living project in Madhya Pradesh, Satpura Tiger Reserve. And we did some experimentation in the past there. Um, we need to continue that work of setting up that community. And I met Vijay meanwhile, and then he introduced me to the Kide community. And this is my first time also being here, like with all of the other Kide community members together.
I think Harsh, Harita, and Ankit.
Hi, Neom. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm outdoors actually. uh, so I'm here in Mumbai. I'll say I'm a filmmaker in the making, trying to uh, make a film. Yeah, that's all I guess for now.
The making
Thank you.
of the filmmaker who is going to make the film. Nice.
Yes.
At
Yeah.
KI,
Thank you.
just remember,
I guess I'll tag someone. Ankit.
Hi, Neom. Hi, Pankaj, Manvendra, everybody. So I am a traveler and a social worker working for the last 10, 11 years now. Though I have studied in IT by background, and I've traveled normally, but also on foot and cycle in parts of India and some parts of Central Asia. And right now I'm in like the end of the country, like basically the end of Assam right now. So, and I'm a nomad, so I kind of live in different houses. So this is another house.
I think Harita is the only one left, but she is generally a very shy bird. I'm not sure if.
Hi, I am Harita from Bangalore. Uh, I was a Bhumi Fellow 2 years ago. Right now, I'm just exploring pottery full time. That's
Harita also paints and paints animals and other creatures. So if you want a portrait of some animal that
Yes.
is beloved to you, you can commission that from Harita. And you can get it for free also if you just tug at her hearts, you can get it for free as well.
Like, can she make a portrait of human animal? Like,
Human animal conflict.
Human
we
animal.
are also animals.
Yeah, she can. She does.
I
Yeah.
can. Also, the money will go to rescue center. So
Yeah.
that's a cost that you can contribute to.
All right. Thank you, Harita. Thank you, everyone. I think so. Pankaj had shared his video. He's shared his project, and at any point, if somebody feels like they would like to offer time, skill, anything else, they can go to the sheet and fill it up, and Pankaj can have, and all of us have access to that sheet. So maybe we can move, and Ankit, if you'd like to share your project.
Yeah. So, I have been very unsure of doing this, but I thought maybe just let me give it a try. Um, okay. So as I already introduced myself a bit, I've worked in multiple states in India in my profession, different NGOs, and also since 2017, I have had my own organization where I was a trustee and where I'm a trustee, and there we worked on mental health and several other community health related issues, as well as working on education, art based education in government schools. And mostly the way I have worked, it is to build actually smaller rural organizations. Instead of making one very big organization and spreading across, but rather I focused on activating the local energy, working with them so that the local energy does not dissipate. Rather, if I go away, the things can go on. And similarly, I recently exited one of the organizations which is now working on mental health and frisbee as a sport with girls. And what my idea began is like when I was in 2017, I left one NGO, after which I was like exploring, and I was looking at different things. So what I realized I have also worked in Goons. So when I used to see the disaster relief operations in Uttarakhand, I used to always wonder that how will all this actually end, in the sense that I used to see the scale of the issue, and NGOs are like, dropping the small water droplets. And I used to wonder, like, it's like, I know it's a good thing to do that, but I also used to feel that, okay, this is something which one NGO or one big thing cannot really work with. So the idea came from there. And then I realized also other things, that, for example, the idea of doing good, for example, one small NGO next to my NGO, we don't know each other too well. So if two NGOs don't know each other well, then there are very less chances that people would actually know much about what's actually happening on ground and other things. So for me it was like कि एक मैं इसको हिंदी में बोलूंगा. So it was like कि एक एनजीओ गड्ढा खोद रहा है and that believes कि ये अच्छा काम है, and दूसरा एनजीओ उसी गड्ढे को भर रहा है because the NGO believes ये अच्छा काम है. So they are canceling out each other's work also many times because they don't communicate with each other. It's like, हम अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, तुम भी अच्छा काम कर रहे हो. So then I realized that there is a certain communication which is not happening also. तो क्योंकि in a structure format, I realized that there is a certain amount of, like there are some mosquitoes. So there is a certain amount of self development which comes with it. For example, मैं 2016 में जहाँ काम करता था वहाँ पे लोग आके बोलते थे अरे आपका एनजीओ बहुत बड़ा हो गया है. तो माय एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर यूज्ड टू आस्क कि हाउ डू यू नो बड़ा हो गया है. बोलते नहीं, यू हैव बिग बिल्डिंग्स नाउ, नो. So there, he used to laugh that people would always see that okay, there is this big buildings coming, so the NGO has become big. So वो जो सेल्फ का ग्रोथ था, मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि द मोमेंट आई वाज इन एनजीओ, मुझे उसके लिए कंप्यूटर लाना था, मुझे उसके लिए फंड लाना था. सो आई वाज नॉट एबल टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द इकोसिस्टम with in an unbiased manner or in a non-partisan manner. So then began the thing called Banjara Network in 2017 in a very informal, no big deal. Just I presented the concept, I remember, in LSUC in Rajasthan, Sardar Sheher, in the end of 2016, that time. And the idea was very simple, that how do we build a network which is not a registered entity as such, which will never be registered, but it will be more like how we have torrent systems, how we have blockchain systems. And so far, the idea has evolved to a space where I can say in a short way that it is about building bridges. But bridges तो बहुत चीजों के agenda based bridges हो सकते हैं, bridges of money हो सकते हैं, bridges of business हो सकता है. But what are these bridges? These bridges, the values will always be love and compassion. So how do you have bridges which can transport love and compassion across the world? And this has nothing to do only with India as a geography, because you can build it anywhere. And ये मैंने उस तरह से इवॉल्व हुआ है. दूसरा, in a very from the other side of point, like today, if you wake up and you want to search something, we blindly open Google. Tomorrow, the idea for this is that if somebody wants to is feeling a little, कि नहीं मुझे कुछ अच्छा काम करना है, मुझे कुछ participate करना है, they get up and they are like, they access Banjara Network. And network is not in itself an organization which wants to grow separately. So the components of the network will grow eventually, because it will help in different parts, like marketing हो सकता है, funding हो सकता है, मतलब वहाँ जहाँ से भी जो resources flow करेंगे, उसके फिर बहुत सारे हमने उसको detail out किया. पर क्योंकि most of the time I have worked on it alone, except that now I have some team members who are good friends also. One is in Sweden, one is in Canada, and one is in India only, of course. लेकिन we don't do it full time, because मेरा अपना एनजीओ फील्ड में जो काम रहता है, उसके अलावा जो टाइम बचता था, मैं उसको ऊपर आई वाज एक्सपेरिमेंटिंग एंड गिविंग टाइम. तो अभी जो शेप है वो बहुत ही ज्यादा, इट इज काइंड ऑफ नॉन, यू कैन से देयर इज नो एग्जिस्टिंग वेबसाइट और एनीथिंग, बट रादर आई हैव एक्सपेरिमेंटेड विद मल्टीपल थिंग्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई कैन गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. Like in 2018, there was a case, just to give you an idea कि इसमें कैसे हो सकता है. So there is an NGO in Nagaland, very small NGO run by two girls, and they were connected to me. So they had a girl child dropped on their gates, and who was supposed, because गांव में लोग ये मानते हैं कहीं नहीं जा सकते तो एनजीओ है ना, तो वहां पे हम दे देंगे, मतलब कुछ हो जाएगा. So now these girls were very worried कि we don't work in all this, but how do we take care of the girl now? So she talked to me. I was in a train journey, I remember, and I said very confidently that let me write to many people I know, and maybe we can arrange money and we can put her in a school or a hostel where she can, get her education and all. So I remember we raised good amount of money. Except the problem that was coming is that their NGO account was partly blocked because of some issues in the banking system, and I'm sure that people who are in the rural spaces were dealing with the banks, they know how banks work. So वो open कराना बहुत difficult था. So I was living with another NGO founder in Assam, and he heard the conversation and he said that why don't you receive the money, whoever is willing to give to an NGO, हमारे यहाँ receive करो and we will transfer it to the school. It is very easy that way. Now, to many of us, this might look very easy because we know a lot of people. But many times, even today in the rural system, these things are very big challenge. Like sometimes 100 rupees become a challenge. Sometimes, and people will not even say कि मुझे 100 रुपए चाहिए. Like they will be like very tensed about it. वो 10 घंटे सोचेंगे, फिर because I have had people who have come to me, मुझे बहुत पैसों की जरूरत है, तो I have asked कितना, 200 रुपए हो जाएगा तो. So the small things we think is very small is a very large issue. So उसमें जो नेटवर्क हमारे पास है अभी, लाइक कीड़े एज अ नेटवर्क या अदर थिंग्स, वो नेटवर्क आई वांटेड टू हैव even for the person who might be the last person in our society, as गांधी जी said, कि लास्ट पर्सन को कैसे हम पहुंच सकते हैं. तो उसमें आज मेरे पास फील्ड में एक्सपीरियंस है, मैं जैसे गांव इधर उधर रहा हूँ, अभी भी मैं गांव में ही हूँ. उसमें बहुत सारे लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं, पर एक प्लेटफॉर्म जो कि नॉट नेसेसरी बिल्ड ऑन वन लैंग्वेज हो, मतलब एक लिंग्विस्टिक उसमें कैप्चर्ड ना हो जाए, क्योंकि मोस्टली इंग्लिश में बहुत वी गेट कैप्चर्ड. तो उस तरह से बिल्ड करना सोच के कि हाउ डज इट बेनिफिट पीपल इन डिफरेंट वेज, बट what kind of benefits people seek from each other is a matter of also like how we build applications on top of the internet. Like internet is it does not distinguish, but applications are different. So वो applications हम कुछ examples हैं, पर depending on time मैं share करूंगा. तो ये जो पूरा नेटवर्क बनाने का बात है, ये ऐसे एक दिन में नहीं बन सकता है, और आई न्यू कि इसको शेयर करने में एक रिस्क है कि ये इट इज टू लार्ज टू बी एक्सप्लेन्ड इन लेट्स से 10-20 मिनट्स समटाइम्स. बट आई ऑल्सो बिलीव दैट मोस्ट ऑफ अस हेयर आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड जिस तरीके से मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया है. होप इसमें आई फील द सपोर्ट आई नीड इज नॉट अबाउट मी, इट इज एक्चुअली, इट्स लाइक हाउ वी से, लाइक कीड़े इज अ नेटवर्क एंड इट्स एक्सपैंडिंग. तो सबका एनर्जी आता है, तभी नेटवर्क इज अ सक्सेसफुल थिंग. नाउ एंड इट इज ऑल्सो अ नेटवर्क ऑफ नेटवर्क्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, इट डज नॉट से दैट बाकी नेटवर्क्स का कोई रोल नहीं है. इट इज एक्चुअली अ नेटवर्क ऑफ नेटवर्क, सो इट विल ऑलवेज हैव अदर नेटवर्क्स एज अ पार्टिसिपेंट इन दैट. तो अभी के लिए आई एम ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड अ स्मॉल पायलट ऑन दिस, लाइक ट्राइंग टू एक्सपेरिमेंट विद अ स्मॉल पायलट. उसमें मैंने एक सोशल मीडिया और वेबसाइट के लिए एक कोलैबोरेशन किया रिसेंटली. सो दैट इज गोइंग टू स्टार्ट, बट मेनली आई एम थिंकिंग ऑफ ऑल्सो, लेट्स से, experimenting with some applications. Like for example, how do we have cycling associations or cycling clubs जो कि normally cities में होते हैं, बड़े बड़े cities में, in small villages, and these can be girl cycling clubs. Now ये हमें normal लगता है, पर ये इतना है नहीं. मतलब lot of cycling clubs कोई करके इतना actively चलता नहीं है villages में. I have tried it out in the organizations I have worked already with, and we have had partial success. हमने उनको self sustainable way में cycling clubs को चलाया, मतलब without trying to seek much money from around. तो ये नेटवर्क, मतलब अभी मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि आई विल ट्राई टू कोलैबोरेट विद लेट्स से 50 एनजीओज को, इफ वी ब्रिंग ऑन बोर्ड. नाउ दीज 50 एनजीओज विल हैव देयर डिफरेंट नीड्स एंड डिफरेंट आइडियाज. तो उसको हम लोग कैसे पब्लिश करें, फिर उसके बाद किस तरह के, जैसे इस तरह का एक सेशन हो रहा है लाइक सील टैंक, तो इस तरह का सील टैंक क्या ऐसे में हो सकता है जहाँ पे कोई गांव के भी लोग जो अभी तक इस तरह के में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर पाते हैं, they can participate with their ideas, with their needs. So वो entrepreneurial प्लेटफॉर्म भी एक मिलेगा वहाँ पे. तो मैं बहुत ज्यादा समय इसमें नहीं लूंगा. मैं एक एग्जांपल छोटा सा देना चाहूंगा ऑफ एन एप्लीकेशन. सो इट्स अ बिट peculiar to hear. So it's called Barbers Association for Girl Child Education. Now, normally we think about barbers. I mean, the ones who have hair, they think about barbers only in terms of cutting hair. And we believe that barbers are only barbers. They will only cut hair. What are they? They are just for cutting hair, right? So we never think about barbers as human beings. But I always believe that every human being, irrespective of whether वो मोची हो, whether वो सब्जी बेच रहा हो या वो बार्बर हो, they have something in their heart, but they're not able to fulfill it. But जब आप उनको एक मौका दोगे, people would like to. And that is why I have had very simple conversations with many people and they become part of, हम भी कुछ करेंगे. तो मैं उनका नंबर ले लेता हूँ. तो Barbers Association में ऐसा है कि let's say it's a sub network. So they already have their associations. The idea is that they start contributing a very small amount. It could be 1 rupees से लेके any amount, any percentage. और वो पैसा उन्हीं को हम डिसाइड करने देंगे कि ये गर्ल चाइल्ड एजुकेशन पे काम करने वाले आपके एरिया के एनजीओज हैं, आप यू कैन विजिट देम, यू कैन सी देम एंड यू स्टार्ट कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग देम सो दैट यू गेट टू नो मोर. तो आप जब फंडर बन जाओगे किसी एनजीओ के, तो द काइंड ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट द बार्बर विल get also receive also is a thing which they may not have experienced before. So वाई गर्ल चाइल्ड एजुकेशन, वो आप उसको ओल्ड एज भी बोल सकते हो. आई एम गिविंग एन एग्जांपल, मतलब टू हैव अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक थिंग. अदरवाइज अगर बोल देंगे फॉर वेलफेयर, तो वो इतना लार्ज हो जाएगा कि एक बार बार अपना काम करे कि वो वेलफेयर करे. उससे अच्छा एक स्पेसिफिक चीज होना चाहिए. तो दैट स्पेसिफिक आइडिया. अब ये नेटवर्क अपने आप में ग्रो कर सकता है. मतलब अगर उसमें 100 बार्बर्स आ गए तो वो 100 से 1000 हो जाएंगे, वो 1000 से 10,000 हो जाएंगे. दैट इज देयर एस्पेक्ट, वो अपना बढ़ा सकते हैं. पैसा उसमें डायरेक्ट एनजीओ को जाएगा, जहां पे भी उनका टारगेट होगा वो डिसाइड करेंगे. वी विल फिल्टर, मतलब द वॉलंटियर ग्रुप हु विल ट्राई टू फिल्टर द एनजीओज बेस्ड ऑन देयर वर्क एंड अदर थिंग्स. तो मैंने एक एग्जांपल दिया सिर्फ ऐसे. आई हैव लाइक आई थिंक 500 एग्जांपल्स रिटन ऑलरेडी विद मी एंड मेनी काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. तो इसमें सपोर्ट बहुत तरीके का हो सकता है. मे बी सम सपोर्ट इज लाइक, मैं अभी एक फ्रेंड के सपोर्ट से ही जीता हूँ इन अ वे. फ्रेंड, एक दो फ्रेंड्स मुझे कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं. तो ट्रैवल भी मेरा होता है. रहने का मेरा थोड़ा बच जाता है बिकॉज आई स्टे विद मल्टीपल हाउसेज इन द विलेजेस एंड ऑल. बट जनरल जो कॉस्ट ऑफ लाइफ है वो है. और आई कैन फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल मैं दे सकता हूँ आपको कि आई हैव बीन सर्वाइविंग ऑन लेस देन 7,000 रुपीज सिंस 2017 एवरी मंथ. तो एंड आई थॉट कि इन 2017 मुझे 7,000 से ज्यादा नहीं चाहिए. मुझे लगा था 2023 में वो बदलेगा, बट वो आज तक उतना ही है. Except that whenever I need some special things, like somebody, if we need a laptop, then of course I have to seek that separately, you know. So paisa, when I say, I have tried to build a model for myself where I do not let it become a very big hindrance. So mera travel bhi basic hota hai, all that. So that I can, in lesser money also, I can have a better, you can say, result. Then so isme I will let you now share or ask me anything, and support. I believe you can understand what support you can give better than me maybe asking इस चीज में.
Hi, Ankit. I think definitely I would like to offer time and my skills, whatever in whatever way. I'm not very good with applications and things like that, but any kind of writing, ideation, I'm there. So that time is there in terms of solidarity. I think in that time, maybe we can also look at how Deepa has, through her travels, built some social capital that has made it possible for her to have matrimony or sort of manage matrimony. Like, that you have in similar way done, built up capital, you have traveled across the country. So, aapka jo capital hai, can we also then maybe convert that into मॉनेटरी कैपिटल बाय सेइंग एक मैट्रिमनी का या आप अपना शुरू करो या कैन वी ब्रिंग यू ऑन बोर्ड एज one of the matrimony persons who is able to, because you know what is happening at the grassroots, you आपको पता भी होगा किसको चाहिए पैसे more than Deepa. So maybe one conversation with Deepa to figure out कि matrimony में ही आ सकते हैं क्या, or can we start something else. So maybe that financial thing, क्योंकि मैं सोचते रहता हूँ, happy to have conversations on with you on that, the financial part, and maybe some sort of financial support monthly, जितना भी होगा, I'll figure it out and I'll share it with you and put it in the sheet as well.
Thank you. Was I too fast in my like I'm also trying to learn how to talk about it. So was I too fast in my saying, or like if you can also give me a feedback on that.
नहीं, this is not the place for feedback. This is still
Okay.
यहाँ पे सिर्फ हम
Okay.
जो दे सकते देंगे. But yeah, fast, slow, क्या होता है? I think if somebody felt it was too fast, they'll offer time and slowly they'll understand.
I heard the name of frisbee in your talk. So, and it's a very new thing to me. I'm trying to learn the sport ultimate frisbee, and I'm also learning the beauty of the sport. So, as it is a mixed gender sport and there is no referee in the game, so I think it is very beautiful. And I don't know how I can offer to your project idea, but I have some kind of expertise in sports and coaching as well. So if you can leverage it in any way, I'll be more than glad to help you. So I can offer you, I'll offer my time to, talk more about how you can use sports to build more of the network that you're talking about.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I am happy to see your face to the email now. There has been so many emails sent by Ankit, but now I'm happy to have a voice and a face both to the emails. Nice to see you, Ankit.
Same here.
Continue.
Next.
पंकज जी को हम म्यूट करें अगर ये फेज आउट. Hope that was not rude. Yeah. Go ahead, Man.
हाय तो बहुत ही पुराना एक सपना है. I started working with forest. I think I used to find a lot of joy in it. And then I started working with clients on forest. And somewhere the world shifts from forest to business. And now, for long time, I've been feeling a little disconnected from the work. But I think one of the happiest moments that I've found in my forest journey is when I've held workshops or taught about forest. So I think that's something I would like to bring back. Is I want to start the storytelling on forest, and I would like to do that in multiple forms. I think I'm someone who can probably put together a narrative very well about like what are forests, what is the story of a forest in any particular place. You can actually do it for different places, but I would like to work with different people, with artists in different forms, because I'm not an artist myself. As such, I'm not an artist of the fine art or very illustrates or poems or things like that or music. So I would like to open up that probably we can anybody who's interested can come around at certain time in December or January and can pitch in with different form of expression that you find. And I would like to put little graphic book on forest or a little like random illustration gives or probably a card game for forest. I don't know, but I just have like so much about forest. If I could find different mediums, I would like to use them.
Thank you, Manvinder. It felt like there were two pitches going on simultaneously, one by you and one in the background by a very cute girl, I think. Yes. So we got to hear multiple pitches. But yeah, I am happy to help with any writing, any writing, editing, ideation. क्योंकि असली काम तो करना अच्छा नहीं लगता है, तो आइडिएशन तो नंबर 1 है आइडिएशन में. So happy to offer you that 10 hours because I know that you have काफी किया है तुमने, and I think more importantly, I think I would like to collaborate with you. So 10 hours of my time.
I don't agree before you change your mind.
Yeah, we have to write it down.
To everyone who has shared their projects, uh, I'm new to this. So I'd like to offer time to understand the project and see in ways in which I can contribute. So, l- yeah, to understand better, I'll like to offer time uh, and find ways that in which I can contribute. Yeah. So I don't know how do I add, like Adil is somewhere adding to 10 hours to us. Where do you write?
Yeah, there is a Excel sheet. I think Vijay can share it again if
So
he's.
maybe I'm unable to, since I'm using this on my phone, so
हाँ हो
I'm
सकता है.
unable to.
It's a Google
I
sheet.
am doing it. Don't worry. I'm keeping track of all the
He's keeping
offerings.
track, but
Yes.
access भी तुम्हें मिलेगा. There is
Yeah.
it's उसके अंदर you have to take out some time to fill in the time that you want to give. कि what
Okay,
does that
okay,
mean?
okay.
1 hour, yeah, 1 hour, 2 hour.
And
If you have to put a time limit to it so that somebody can redeem it. Like you have
okay.
offered 2 hours, and then somebody
Mhm.
can, whoever you have offered to, can redeem it,
Oh,
saying, ki, okay, can we get on a call? And so that
oh,
is up to
nice,
the person who has been offered.
nice, nice. And also like, that is it there. So yeah, so I'll add it to the Excel and I hope it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But there might be some other projects also. So this is your offer is for all the things or all the projects being pitched until now.
I don't know about other projects. Like
ठीक.
this is my first time attending a meeting like this.
हाँ,
So
so maybe you just hear out all the things and accordingly
like,
Excel sheet में तुम लगा सकते हो कैसे क्या करना.
and also like other projects maybe from previous field time meetings, are they
Yeah,
on like
they're also there in that sheet. There's different tab,
uh,
so you can access any tab and fill it in, and then contact the person also saying that hey, I've offered this and this. Let me know when we can connect. You can go back in time. You can go back in
and
time
also
and offer
they
time.
like are there maybe information regarding the project they have attached with the in the Excel?
अबे just check out the Excel sheet ना मिल जाएगा.
Okay, okay,
इतने
मिल जाएगा.
सारे
ठीक
सवाल
है,
पूछ
sorry,
रहा है, which is
sorry,
all
sorry,
there in
sorry.
the sheet. हाँ?
Sorry.
For the first
That
three
makes
ones,
sense.
add patience to answer. उसके बाद और नहीं है. हाँ, मतलब there's a project brief, but it may not be
Okay, okay.
enough, which means that you will have to
Okay,
do some of your research or
got
connect
it.
with them. है ना?
Yes. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, man. Anyone else wants to share anything? It can, first of all, it doesn't have to be a concrete project. Second, it doesn't even have to be a project. There's any idea that you have which is not even going towards a project, you can share it. Any thoughts that you have in any direction that is like a kida coming back to you again and again, you can share that. So really the canvas is wide open and not primarily only for projects which are on the ground or projects which are in action.
Is it like the people who have not presented or anybody?
Anybody, if somebody who has not yet presented wants to share, they can go ahead. Varna, it's a free for all. Popcorn.
Um,
All right, maybe I'll quickly share and then maybe Ankit, you. So obviously, I have been saying any kind of ideas are okay because my idea is just sort of a very vague idea. I'll just, it's about names, something to do with names and what, um, you know, names seem to be very superficial identities that we have. We may connect to them, we may not connect to them, but they're invoked so many times in our lives that sometimes I know that, like, I don't know, Ankit always writes Banjara in his, mails. And so it's almost like he is Ankit Banjara. Like, I think a lot of people have referred to him as Ankit Banjara. So there is something about name that we want to change if we feel like we've moved away from it or if we have created another identity. But there is some relationship with just names, not just ours, the names that maybe pop up in our life. Something I want to explore on this, I'm not really sure. I made a poster because I went to a museum of art and photography here in Bangalore, and I saw a wall with lots of names. These were written in a very dramatic fashion, and these were, I think, names of people. This was part of some art project. So for me, it was more that I have a title, I have a photograph in the poster. There is a sort of a tagline which I want to explore. There are names that, like, how do we connect to names but without the people? Like, what does it mean to connect to, like, Harsh means something, like Harsh means something now, but if I say Harsh, what always a person might come to my mind, like, but what does the word, what does that word mean, what does that name mean? Maybe just I want to do for all the kide that are there, all the connection, maybe my connection with those names, everybody's connection with every other name. I have no clue where I'm going with the project, but I just know that there is a brief, faint idea. I think I pitched it in the last Seal Tank also, but no work has happened since then. But yeah, if anybody is interested in names, like, can join me in this project. We don't know what it will look like, what will be the outcome. But yeah, that is me. What's your name? We can change the title also, I guess. But yeah, something to do with name, identities, and meaning.
Uh, I find the idea very interesting uh, because like this idea ki knowing someone, like often uh, we feel ki knowing the name is knowing that thing. So that way I sort of resonate with it, and I also like the not knowing aspect. Like you don't know where it is going to go. So I find that very interesting. So I would like to offer time and maybe uh, uh, yeah, time basically to just maybe brainstorm or uh, yeah, I don't know where it will go, but that is very interesting. So yes.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think just one thing I wanted to add. Generally, I think in India, our last name gives away a lot of our background, right? It might give our
That's
caste,
right.
it might give our, like, so a lot of focus is on the last name, second name, whatever it is called, because that is supposed to be, like, our identity in some ways. So maybe, but we forget the first name itself and what does it mean? Where did it, come from? What is it? What is our relationship to that? So yeah, something I wanted to explore.
Hmm. I guess that is why I've kept the last name as Bill.
I know. So there's so many people that I've met. Like, you have your name as Harsh Nil,
Yeah.
and that means something to you. I know There is some active. There are many activists who changed their name. I think in the olden days, many maybe saints and gurus and I don't know, they changed their names. So while it seems like Manish Freeman, Harsh Nil, Piyush Manush, so all these people have found some value in changing name. Like if it were only superficial, maybe people wouldn't have done it. So it's also like, how do you live that name? Bombil, yeah, Bombil. So yeah, maybe we can do something on this. Like, what do within the Kide community itself, what are some of the alter egos, that we have created with our names? Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, while name is one thing, and I'll be keen to learn more uh, from you and other members who have suggested to contribute time. And also, I mean, there's been suggestions in the chat itself, like couple of names and all. I do have my own alternate names. I call myself Born Free or Free World. These are the two that I use for myself. But beyond that, like I'm more interested into like the idea of identity itself. Like who do we identify ourselves as to be? The whole psychological and identity, or like then you have got like traditions like Vedanta that point to like a different uh, loci for your like identity. So those are also the aspects like I keenly and actively sort of pursue. And I think I might want to contribute to this whole discussion from that locus point of view. That how uh, I mean, in fact, I'm pursuing a book called like Beyond Illusion, and that's actually about your like psychological identity and like moving beyond that and uh, going into the realm of no self. So I think yeah, this is the direction and dimension that I would like to bring into the table, and maybe hear everybody else's views on that.
Thank you, Pankaj.
I offer you my names.
You'll give
Sorry.
me? We didn't
I
hear you,
offer you
man.
my names. I offer you my names.
You have, yeah. Man,
Yes.
Manuda,
Yeah, a lot
mm,
of them. And I can
Tum,
also probably offer a change of name.
yeah, na? Yeah, I think so.
Now,
Man se adil tak, dil se man.
mm,
Yeah, we can figure out. But yes, thank you.
I can offer my participation and stories of like about a dozen names which I went through when I was a child before coming back to my original birth name.
Wow, would love to know that journey as well. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think Ankit, you wanted to share. Huh? So,
Yeah, I think I mean, I've become more excited now to share. Earlier, I was a bit scared that whether I should say anything or not. Now I feel like, okay, maybe this is a good place to just
yeah. After
express
my
even.
stupid project idea, anything can be shared. So maybe you got confident. अबे
No,
ये भी
it's
कर दिया pitch, कुछ भी कर दिया मैं भी कर सकता
but I not saying stupid or anything, but actually I would say that सब लोग डरते हैं, पर जो इनोसेंट होता है ना, वो कुछ भी बोलता है, फिर उसके बाद सारा ऑल दैट थिंग गोज लाइक हाँ कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, लाइक इट्स मोर फ्री, बिकॉज हमने वो बना रखा है ना, लाइक इट्स वेरी दैट स्ट्रिक्ट एंड वैसा। तो बिकॉज आई वाज रिसेंटली इन अ पिचिंग सेशन, मेरे फेलोशिप का एक आईआईटी में फेलोशिप में था मैं, तो they had this pitching session. So I opted out from the final pitching session because the people who had come there were like this chairperson of this and all those people. तो मुझे कई बार पूछा उन्होंने, do you not really don't want to pitch? I said no, I can't pitch. So वो उस लेवल पे, इसीलिए I was trying to ask कि क्या fast हूँ slow हूँ, because I kind of when it comes to like normal conversation तो I go with the flow, but थोड़ा ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म पे कुछ अलग ही हो जाता है मेरे साथ. So yeah, so there are many unfulfilled, or I would say rather attempted ideas, but एक मतलब एक ऐसे बोल सकते हैं कि कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है that there should be I have actually told my friend also that एक जीनी होना चाहिए कि आपको जो भी अच्छे काम करने हैं ना उसके लिए आपको ज्यादा सोचना ना पड़े. ऑफ कोर्स नॉट इन द सेंस कि आप पूरा मतलब यू नीड बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स, ऑल दैट इज लाइक नॉट द पॉइंट. बट एक जीनी होना चाहिए कि आप एक किसी के लिए कुछ करना चाहते हो और पीछे से हाँ वो कहते हैं हाँ करो. तो एक्चुअली वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स इवन सेड तुम करो, मैं मुझे जीनी समझो, मतलब ऐसा उसने बोल भी दिया था. ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज अ लिमिटेशन, of course everything has a limitation, but फिर भी मैं एक ऐसा चीज बोलना चाह रहा हूँ, like for example when I look at all these spaces, तो last many years I have also lived in cities like Pune and all. वहाँ मुझे बहुत कुछ मिला, like LSUCs plus lot of community and everything, I learned a lot. पर मुझे हमेशा ऐसा लगता था कि जैसे बहुत सारी चीजें, मैं अब गांव में होता हूँ तो मैं ये शेयर करता रहता हूँ मेनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स. तो जो वॉलंटियर्स भी होते हैं उनको आई सी अ लॉट ऑफ टैलेंट एंड बहुत सारा चीज दिखता है, बट कई बार वो कनेक्शन बिल्ड करना इतना इजी नहीं होता है एकदम से. प्लस ऑल्सो इट टेक्स टाइम, मतलब वो इट डजंट हैपन लाइक आई थिंक जस्ट विद 1 day or 2 days. तो फिर आई ऑलवेज यूज टू थिंक कि व्हाट कुड बी समथिंग जो लाइक लेट्स से वी से लाइब्रेरीज. तो एक मिनी लाइब्रेरी का आइडिया मतलब बहुत पहले से आ रखा था, विच वॉज लाइक वेरी सिंपल. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी थिंक लाइब्रेरी बनाना है तो एक घर चाहिए बड़ा, उसमें जगह चाहिए, बट मिनी लाइब्रेरी इज अ वेरी सिंपल थिंग. सो एक चीज मुझे आइडेंटिफाई हुआ कि इन एवरी विलेज मोर और लेस you will always find some people who have a bigger house, depending on area to area, जिनके पास थोड़ी जगह एक्स्ट्रा होती है. तो आप हर गांव में या हर जगह पे एक लाइब्रेरी सेटअप कर सकते हो बहुत क्विकली इफ यू डोंट नीड अ बिग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. बट ऑब्वियसली ये एक वैसा ड्रीम है ना, लाइक हर जगह करना. तो मुझे हमेशा लगता था कि अगर हर जगह देयर इज एन अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ सर्टेन बुक्स हो गया, कुछ मटेरियल हो गया, नॉट नेसेसरली बुक्स बट इवन स्पोर्ट्स रिलेटेड मटेरियल हो गया, टॉयज हो गए, देन टी sometimes I think of a TV also where you can use that. तो इस तरह से there मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है like I have survived a lot in the tea garden areas. तो the kind of environment I see and I kind of visualize the environment when you have a library. When I say library, it consists of not just serious books, but it could be also related to literature, it could be also related to filmmaking and many other aspects of life. तो इस तरह की अगर आप स्पेसेस छोड़ दो बना बना के, एंड नॉट टू थिंक टू मच अबाउट अकाउंटिंग कैलकुलेशन कि भाई इसका क्या फायदा हुआ उसका क्या फायदा हुआ. इट्स मोर लाइक पीपल कहीं तो यूज करेंगे कहीं वेस्ट होगा, राइट? वो वी कैन नॉट कंट्रोल दैट, बट एटलीस्ट एक बोलते हैं ना एक बेसिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, इवन एक जने मतलब एक इवन इफ इट हेल्प्स वन गर्ल to let's say escape the clutches of what I call as a modern slavery in tea gardens. I'm only talking of tea garden as an example. So if it helps the girl escape the clutches of modern slavery in tea garden, it will be like okay, मैं हो सकता हूँ उसको नंबर्स में काउंट करूं, पर वो लड़की के लिए उसका पूरा जिंदगी मतलब ट्रांसफॉर्म होता है. एंड आई हैव सीन दैट हैपनिंग कि कितना डिफरेंस आता है. तो समटाइम्स आई फील कि बुक्स तो मिल जाती है, लाइक लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर ऑलवेज रेडी टू help with books and other things, but sometimes there is something called energy, like energy motivation. So when you work in the villages you may mostly lack this more than anything else, कि वो जो entrepreneurial energy होती है, unless you have a team, unless you have some people who have gathered together, you feel like कि वो energy लाना मुश्किल होता है. like कोई कोई मिलता है पर वो भी मजबूर होते हैं, they are depending on their families are dependent on them and all that. तो उस काम में मदद ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि मेरे पास कोई कॉल नहीं आता है दिन में, वो बोलता है अरे तुम लाइब्रेरी पे काम कर रहे हो कि नहीं, कोई नहीं करता है, ऑफ कोर्स नहीं करेगा. लेकिन मैं ऐसे सोचता हूँ कि काश कोई ऐसा मेरे को पीछे पड़ जाए, तुमने कहा था ना यू वांट टू डू इट, तो व्हाई आर यू नॉट डूइंग इट, बट कोई ऐसे नहीं करता है. कोई आई थिंक आई थिंक वो मुझे मदर टेरेसा का याद आता है कि शी वॉज वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट डूइंग व्हाट शी डिड, एंड शी वॉज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक शी वॉज कंसिडर्ड कि अरे ये मतलब कुछ भी करने के लिए रेडी थी। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है वो पैशन जो चाहिए ना ये सब करने के लिए, आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ लाइब्रेरीज, बट आई हैव सीन मेडिकल कंडीशन ऑफ पीपल, मेनी अदर टॉपिक्स लाइक दैट। तो वो मैं इसको स्ट्रक्चर करके बहुत नहीं बोल रहा हूँ अभी, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम्स का भी मैं दे सकता था, मैं मेडिकल इश्यूज का बता सकता था, मैंने बुक्स का रेफर किया। बट वो जो एक होता है ना, मैं कभी कभी रजनीकांत की फिल्म देख के वो इंस्पायर हो जाता हूँ। रिसेंटली तो जवान में भी वही दिखाया उन्होंने। आई नो इट वाज नॉट, इट इज नॉट अ मूवी विच वी कैन टॉक अबाउट, बट जो उसके पीछे का अंडरलाइंग कोर था वो मैंने पकड़ा कि इट वाज मोर अबाउट दीज थिंग्स स्टिल एग्जिस्ट, बट थोड़ा बात नहीं करते हैं लोग, और अलग अलग लेवल पे एग्जिस्ट करता है। तो कभी कभी लगता है वो लाइक इफ देर इज एन एनर्जी टू पुश एंड पुल ऑल्सो, कि मुझे अगर कोई जगह दे तो हो सकता है मैं किसी से बात करूं जो बोले अच्छा ठीक है तुम 100 बुक्स ले लो और एक बना दो कुछ। तो सॉर्ट ऑफ दैट। तो इन आइडियाज पे बात करने के लिए भी इफ somebody इज इंटरेस्टेड, एंड यू कैन वी कैन डिस्कस डायलॉग, रिसोर्सेज भी होते हैं, बट इट्स लाइक अ पैलेट, वी हैव टू पिक एंड चूज एंड देन मेक इट हैपन। मेरा मेरा माइन इज मच मोर अभी आई थिंक, आई वुड से आदिल से ज्यादा बेकार हो गया।
नहीं नहीं नहीं,
तो
आई थिंक
आदिल
डेफिनेटली।
से ज्यादा बेकार हो गया। ओके।
नहीं, आदिल ओनली
was
वो
there
क्या बोलते हैं
was there a compliment there?
I don't know, I didn't think too much about the words part of it, but Adil would get the मतलब feeling I think.
नहीं, हमको भी मिला, सिर्फ आदिल को नहीं, हमको भी मिला।
No, I think in within Kide itself now we have somebody from Bihar who's running a library project. I think someone else also working. So I think वहां से अगर शुरू करें कि यार you are already working on the ground, working on these library projects. Maybe can you get 4 or 5 people who might be interested, to do that in neighboring villages, neighboring, and then we can figure out how do we get books to them, and especially from urban cities and things like that. How do we get all the people who like to collect books like me? Not, I'm not such a book collector, but I know people who are possessively collecting books as if they're also some sort of. So how do we get them to give that also away? And can we create libraries from these शहरों में जो जिन्होंने बड़े बड़े लाइब्रेरी शेल्फ्स लगा के रखे हैं अपने घर में? Can we? So for me that is interesting ki where would we source the books from, not to buy them again wholesale, but can we get people who are too attached to their books, can we make them give it up? मुझे ऐसे चीजें में बहुत इंटरेस्ट है।
Well, I can contribute couple of cartons to that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's nice.
if whenever that comes up.
Yeah. I think एक चीज जो मैं इसके थ्रू बोलना चाह रहा था, आई हैव काइंड ऑफ आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट इट। तो जो लाइब्रेरी है वो एक मेथड है, बट माय माय पॉइंट वाज एक्चुअली कि हाउ मैं जो माहौल देखता हूँ, मतलब जो एक एनर्जी का स्पेस है, वो क्या 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 करके चेंज कर सकते हैं, लाइक एंड देयर कुड बी मेनी आइडियाज ऑन दैट। तो मैंने एक लाइब्रेरी एक एग्जांपल दिया कि वो एक जगह हो सकता है, वो एक चीज हो सकता है, बट इट कुड बी अ लॉट ऑफ आर्ट्स एंड थिएटर एंड समथिंग क्रिएटिव बेसिकली। तो वो उसके लिए जो लोग इंटरेस्टेड होते हैं, मतलब क्योंकि जब हम इनको ऐसी जगहों पे करते हैं, लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स इन द कॉलेजेस हैव नेवर सीन ऑल दिस। तो वैसे उस तरह की एनर्जी, अगर जैसे आई आई थिंक हर्ष वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट है ना, फिल्म मेकिंग एंड नियॉम इज देयर। सो ऐसे और मतलब ये जो चीजें हैं, मैं चाहता हूँ कि जहाँ पे लोगों ने बिल्कुल कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया है और वो मेरे पास है एक्सेस, कि हाउ कैन आई bridge those things, like I will send a video link, a YouTube video link, you can see it in your स्पेयर टाइम, उसमें हमने एक आर्ट मतलब वी देयर वाज अ फ्रेंड, तो उसके साथ मिलके वी डिड इट इन अ वेरी स्मॉल विलेज मिडिल स्कूल इन असम का, काफी अंदर जाना पड़ता था, मतलब वेरी बैड रोड एंड ऑल। वहां जब हुआ तो आई विल जस्ट गिव अ स्टैटिस्टिक्स कि 50% अटेंडेंस वाज अ नॉर्मल थिंग, 50% से ज्यादा नहीं होता था। लेकिन वो जो 3 दिन का वर्कशॉप था उसमें अटेंडेंस वाज आई थिंक 120%। तो ये 120 कैसे हुआ कि जो बच्चों ने कभी एनरोल भी नहीं किया था वो भी आते थे, मतलब जो स्कूल ही नहीं आते थे अदरवाइज कभी, तो उनका तो नाम ही नहीं था, देयर वाज नो नेम इन द रजिस्टर। तो 120% अटेंडेंस होता था बिकॉज ऑफ दैट आर्ट रिलेटेड वर्कशॉप। आई विल सेंड यू द लिंक सो यू कैन सी। तो वैसी चीजें करना मुझे लगता है ऑफ कोर्स बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग भी होता है और बहुत मेमोरीज भी क्रिएट करता है फॉर यू नो, लाइक इट इज ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर्ड कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ था बच्चों के लिए भी, फॉर द किड्स ऑल्सो। तो आई वुड लाइक टू बी अ I would like to be a bridge in, you know, let's say not just Assam, I would say Northeast तो is of course there, but even in other areas wherever I have friends जो कर रहे हैं गांव में काम या अलग अलग, तो वहां पे भी जाया जा सकता है, whoever is possible, whatever is possible। तो ये मैं जस्ट एक बोल के रख रहा हूँ because there was no specific project around it right now, but if anybody is interested in all these things।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, डेफिनेटली। हर्ष, आई थिंक यू
So,
वांटेड टू शेयर।
uh, Adil, just one small thing, if I can say here, for
Sure,
Ankit.
sure. And then
Yeah.
Harsh
Yeah, yeah,
can
sure.
share his idea.
Yeah. So, Ankit, I know of this group. I'm just forgetting their name off my head. But what they do is they organize retreat for urban artists with the different rural artists around the similar or maybe quite different like art forms. And these are residential retreats. So urban artists, they would go and live with them and co-create like things that also might have some functional utility for those rural populations. So this is one very interesting format which has given amazing results. And these retreats would last for like a week or 15 days. And that would have a permanent sort of a signature in that locality. And from that project can like then take any shape. And essentially, I mean, there's a better uh, chance of it surviving beyond the event itself and keep on inspiring like people for like times to come. So I think I'll try and pull out the name of this group if you're interested, and then I mean we can have them into a conversation with us, and then if you want to broaden your horizon on this idea, I think they also would be good people to talk to about this.
Sure, thank you Pankaj.
Yeah. uh, to Harsh, please.
So, the idea that I wanted to share, uh, so I'll phrase it as the scam of large numbers. So, what I've so what uh, how do I share this? So we feel uh, we can wait. I'm trying to articulate it. Uh, so large numbers are something that we cannot feel. Like for example, we can imagine what 10 like 10 is something we can count on our fingers, right? But 1 crore or 10 crores is something we don't have a feel about. So uh, we cannot sense it, or to say we cannot, and since we cannot sense it, we cannot form a judgment or have a say about it. So the society that we live in, uh, there are structures which uh, talks in large numbers. तो उससे होता ये है कि the common people don't cannot feel it, right? अगर टीवी पे डिस्प्ले हो रहा है कि प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट 50 करोड़ डाला है मे बी एजुकेशन पे, so we cannot feel what 50 crore is like, and we cannot basically form we have nothing to say about it. So that is a good way of basically, I feel, scamming people. Like uh, if I tell you something about something that you cannot feel, you cannot have never experienced, so you don't have a feeling for it, so you will end up maybe believing what I say. So even with systems like democracy, it says it is of the people, for the people, by the people, all of that. But I don't feel that. In reality, it is like the numbers are so large. I don't feel it. Just saying कि large numbers के through we can easily cheat someone. Like the more it becomes very abstract basically. Like 1 करोड़ बहुत abstract हो गया compared to 10. So अगर हम किसी को बोलेंगे how do I say this? So like there is this possibility of doing research in this area, like how it is oftenly used uh, to maybe not, we don't mean it, maybe it is happening, uh, and also there is this element of human scale, like human scale. For example, I can only be friends with like say, like I can only be in touch with, let's say, uh, like first hand, maybe 100 people, stay in touch with 100 people in my daily life, वो भी first hand. But हाँ, like someone has shared, आदिल group पे share किया है, तो
हाँ, मतलब ये इस पे काफी रिसर्च हुआ है कि द ब्रेन इज जस्ट बैड एट numbers, and especially big numbers, and in terms of relationships also there is Dunbar number, and for organizations there's a number. तो um, एक 100 के ऊपर you can't think, you can't feel for people more than 100, तो ऐसे काफी restrictions हैं. And in terms of, like you were saying, कि the mind can't comprehend what is 1 million people dying. Like वो visual नहीं आता है. We can't visualize 1 million people in a frame, in a visual frame in our brains. तो इस पे काफी रिसर्च हुआ है, एंड आई थिंक, और मतलब वी कैन फिगर आउट कि इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स एंड डेमोक्रेसी की क्या है, व्हाट डज दैट लुक लाइक. बट काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है ये. मैंने भी इसके बारे में थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ा था कभी. बट या, हर्ष को सिर्फ दो ही नंबर अच्छे लगते हैं, 6 और 9, बिकॉज उसके बुक पे हो, ऑन द बुक दैट ही रोट.
yes. So yeah, so I was thinking ki how can we sort of use this idea as a reflection to the society we live in. uh, like I feel ki the way the system is, uh, it is not uh, by the people, it is not for the people, it is not of the people. So I guess I can use this idea to sort of say this uh, thing that I wish to say. So maybe it's a very nascent stage. Uh, Maybe researching more, understanding more, and there are like interesting books like How to Lie with Statistics. So maybe that will be helpful. So yeah, so that's the idea.
आई एम हैप्पी टू whatever, like अगर रिसर्च करना है इस पे, एंड happy to be with you on the research journey of this. Interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
सो इससे रिलेटेड एक्चुअली कुछ इंसिडेंट्स है नंबर से जो आप वट एवर यू शेयर नाउ. आई डोंट नो इफ इट विल एग्जैक्टली रिलेट विद व्हाट यू सेइंग बट तो मतलब बहुत टाइम में ना ऐसे लोगों ने बोला है मुझे कि दे डोंट पे एनी टैक्सेस लाइक क्योंकि टैक्स सेपरेटली तो देते नहीं है तो देन दे यूज्ड टू से कि अच्छा टैक्स नहीं देते. तो आई ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू थिंक कि हर चीज में देयर इज अ टैक्स ऑन एवरीथिंग इंक्लूडिंग फ्यूल एंड मटेरियल. तो आई यूज्ड टू टेल देम दैट यू नो दैट इतना सारा टैक्स तो इसी से आ रहा है बट पीपल कैन नॉट रिलेट बिकॉज इंडिविजुअली दे आर नॉट एबल टू फील इट. तो उस पर एक आइडिया आया था. मैंने एक फिल्म मेकर हमारे यहाँ पे लोकली है उससे बात की थी पर वो मटेरियलाइज नहीं हुआ. उसमें ये था कि वी टेक एनी कम्युनिटी एनी विलेज और एनीथिंग एंड वी काइंड ऑफ have these people and we basically whatever they buy or spend on वो उसका हिसाब रखें फॉर लेट से 6 months और 1 year if possible and then we calculate and see how much taxes have people actually really paid each of those families based on their consumption or etc. And that could be like a film or a documentary also, you know, where people we can show that you know like इन्होंने एक साल में इतना टैक्स दिया है. And it could be different spectrum of people. Some very poor people we can consider based on economic scales, based on different caste, based on different groups. And उसमें ये पता चलेगा कि अगर कोई बहुत अमीर है को क्या वो बहुत टैक्स दे रहा है या proportion, what is the proportion basically. तो इस तरह का एक आइडिया पे मेरी I had a word with one guy here, but वो हो नहीं पाया था. बट मुझे याद आ गया when you shared this numbers thing.
In the sheet, it's written that your project idea is scam of big numbers. It sounds like we want to scam a lot of people.
Like even
sheet?
I could. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Which sheet are you talking of? Where is it written?
Contact उलाशी जिसमें सारे
Steel
हाँ.
tank
Okay,
sheet.
okay.
Like I was thinking of even like I could imagine this to be a book. I can imagine this to be a book, and so I was thinking of maybe having the title as "How to Scam 101," something like that. A guidebook to scam, basically telling how people generally.
Oh, like how to scam for dummies, like 101. Acha, acha.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Interesting. Yeah, maybe quickly I'll share about so my collaboration with Deepak. He's a contemporary dancer. So we've done one sort of pilot project on looking at embodying economics. So we were looking at different things which are abstracted, like made abstract, like numbers makes feeling abstract, like, and economics is pretty much sold to us like that. GDP ये number है, वहाँ पे इतना होता है, यहाँ पे इतना है, this is going down, this is going up. And so we thought, what would it look like to explore embodied economics? Like, what would economics in a true sense, in the name of household management, of taking care of home, economics is taking care of home. So what does seeing your body as home and seeing its economics, or seeing the connection with economics, larger economics? So we did one 3-week exploration, something that we found some value in. We had one of the other kide, Ananya, also write about it briefly, something that we will explore. Deepak and I want to explore also. So if anybody is interested in economics, body movement, they can write to me. The second thing that we are now moving on to is, I don't know if you can see it, this is the Constitution of India. So the next thing that we wanted to explore was something again which is made very abstract. The constitution is very abstract. It doesn't like constitution is at the core of the nation state, but I don't think many of us connect to it in any deep level. So we're doing something called dance of democracy, embodying the constitution, seeing like what does it mean to interpret constitution and some of the things that it wants us to do or wants us to think of, but doing it through body wisdom and movement. So that will start on November 26th and go on till Jan 26th, Republic Day ke liye. I think that was the time it took from making that constitution and finally releasing it. So we'll be doing that. So if anybody is interested in that constitution, how can we maybe take this to people? Because then we are not using a lot of words and jargon and this and that, but we're trying to embody it. So agar anybody who's interested in embodiment of concepts that we have made too abstract, can reach out to me and we can look at it. We can either work on the economics thing or constitution or anything else that you may have in mind. Thank you.
I think I would like to take part in this whole constitution discussion dialogue.
Great, Pankaj. Thank you, thank you. So we start on November 26th. Here in Bangalore, we're trying to get some lawyers. We're trying to get people who work with, you know, like what does that mean? How do you do the balance between freedom and responsibilities? Like these are told to us in a very abstract form, right? These are your there you have some freedom, but you also have some duties. What will that look like? We are going to do something on preamble. So we are going to look at ambling, like what does it mean to walk together in a space with diverse different people with different movements and different representations. So we're trying to do some look at some of these things. So happy to have you in that conversation. Whenever Deepak and I sit down for it, we'll get you on as well.
I can share contacts of one Bangalore-based lawyer and some Bangalore-based contemporary dancers.
Awesome, Neom. That would be really helpful. That would be helpful. Thank you. विजय जी ये जा रहा है क्या शीट में? I don't know. Vijay is here.
Yes.
Thank you यार. बचा लेता है तू ही. All right, if nobody else has anything to share in terms of projects, so that's all right. And anything, so this is now just free time, hang time, any personal sharing, you just want to chit chat, you want to log off, you can do that. So I think from my end, we're done. Yeah. Yes, Pankaj, go ahead.
Adil and yeah, everyone, if you're okay, I mean that I think that video is uploaded and maybe we can give a minute to that.
Yeah, we can watch. So, what I said that if somebody wishes to leave, they can leave. They can. We don't have any formal checkout process, so that's what I wanted to share with people. But yeah, definitely we can. I'll be here, and hopefully, where is the video? Can you share the link so that I can play it?
That's in the chat. So
that's a downloaded, na? कुछ download होता है उससे.
Vijay had
yeah.
uploaded.
Yeah, I downloaded it. Let me just. Yep.
You can share. You can present it on your screen.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
That would be.
Share screen, share sound. Okay. Let me know if you can hear the. Okay.
Regardless of who we are, where we live, and what we do. We all have a moral obligation to each other, our future generations, and other species to sustain the planet. Our present choices and actions have huge long term impacts on future generations. Aranika comes from the Sanskrit word which means green and bountiful forest and signifies fertility, abundance, plenitude, generosity, resources, and prosperity. Is located in Singanama, Panchmari, Madhya Pradesh, India. Aranika's sustainable community finds its origin in shared disquiet that arises from unchecked consumerism that has been a threat to the ecology and biodiversity of the planet for a long and aspires to be a great human experiment in collective living and learning, thereby reducing the need for individual asset ownership. Aranica leads through its 7 areas of action: environmental education and life skills, conscious living and self enablement, circular agriculture and waste reduction, sustainability demonstration, vernacular housing, renewable energy, resource recovery, and conservation.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you, Pankaj. Really. All right, people. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. Hopefully, you found it interesting, enriching, worth your time. And yeah, I'm not sure if Neom is already part of the Kida community, but maybe you can check out the website.
Neom and Pankaj are
Also,
new people
yeah,
to the community.
yeah. They can check it out, and if you'd like to be part of the community, you can let us know. Anyone of us know. Yeah, great. All right, so we're done with the official seal tank, and people can check out. People can do whatever they want. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Adios. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye
Bye.
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 Bye bye.
People.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.